back to the channel. Ooh, I'm blinding you with my reflective glasses. Welcome back to the channel. This is Stephanie with Chubby Girl in the World, and I'm so excited to have you here today. This is my very first ever vegan makeup review. So this is kind of a review about the brand and not necessarily the palette, because this palette is actually limited edition, and it is the Christmas Morning palette from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. So, let me just, and she looks like this. So, let me see if you can. So you can see the red and the greens. There's a gray and a silver color. You've got 4 mattes and 4 shimmers, and my favorite look is the green matte with the Gifts Galore Duochrome. So a couple of things about this. I really do enjoy this palette. I did an entire week of looks with it, so because it's Christmas time, I did the red and green inspired looks, and I did like a red sort of smoky eye with some shimmer. I'm not wearing it today because right now I'm testing out the Violet Voss Holy Grail palette that I got in a BoxyCharm, which happens to be, oh gosh, okay, so it's like the, oh my god, oh, what's wrong with my eye? So it is, so right now I'm not wearing the Christmas Morning palette because I am testing out the Violet Voss Holy Grail palette, which happens to be vegan. I got it in the Boxy Luxe box for December, and I'm really excited about it to be testing that out. It's more neutrally than I would normally like, but let's get back to the Christmas palette. So again, this is more a review of the brand because this is the first thing I've ever tried from Give Me Glow Cosmetics, and I'm really excited. This one retailed for, I believe it was $36 plus $5 shipping, so it ended up being around 40 something dollars. The palette sold out in 19 minutes when it launched. They did do a restock. I don't think it's currently available. So that's why I probably won't be doing any tutorials or anything like that. Well, one, because I'm not a makeup artist, but I probably won't have any like get ready with me's with this or anything like that. I might do a couple of like just holiday looks where you can shop your stash for similar colors. But if you're wondering about the formula of these eyeshadows, I feel like the mattes, so I feel like the mattes are creamy and very pigmented, so that is just one swipe of the gray, and this is, I promise I'm not, that's the red, here's the green. So I'm terrible at swatching, like it's not the eyeshadow's fault. So these are really pigmented and creamy. They're not overly creamy, like if you've ever swatched like the Lorac formula where it's really like powdery and like almost a little too, it's powdery and buttery at the same time. They're not Anastasia shadows, I'll put it that way. But this in the transition, this Milk and Cookie shade is a great transition shade if you're light-skinned like me. And this is probably my favorite shimmer. So the shimmers swatch really, really well. But the problem is that you don't need to wet your brush for pigmentation. I find that these can be a little bit crumbly. So here's what the green one looks like. So the green's like a green, see, so the green's a little bit crumbly, but again, so I'm not the best swatcher either, so take that into consideration. But for some reason that greeny duochrome is just a little bit more crumbly than the rest of them. I'm not really sure why, and I'll swatch the silver there. So let's see if you can get the lights to reflect it correctly. There we go. So these are, oh, sorry, didn't mean to blind you. So these are really like pigmented, and they are really nice to work with. It's just that green duochrome that can get a little bit, it's a little bit more crumbly. Like I said, you don't need to wet your brush to get color payoff, but for me, I found that I got a lot less fallout if I wet my brush. I didn't use a glitter glue, and I feel like these would work really well with a glitter glue, because I just didn't have one on hand. But wetting my brush really did foil the shadows and really did help. And so again, I'm not a makeup artist, so I'm just like your average everyday consumer, like person who has not been trained in makeup at all, who is using these palettes. So if that's who you are, great. Like, I know there are people who are like, oh, well, a real makeup artist can make anything work. And like, these are really pretty and they're awesome. Like, they're awesome shadows. I love the red and the green, and I've made some really pretty looks. I'll insert them in this video. And so I've done like a red green one, so a really festive one, and I've done a silvery one that I actually brought in a matte black from an e.l.f. palette to kind of smoke out the smoke out the edges, to do like a more kind of New Year's Eve look. I really like this kind of greeny gold look that I've done. I just think that it is really important to, these are very, very pigmented shadows, so you just need the tiniest bit on your brush. Like, you don't need to swirl your brush. If you swirl your brush, you're gonna have a bad time. Like, it's gonna be a bad time, because I'm not someone who swirls my brushes. I usually tend to like dip in and like build up and dip in and build up. But these, you don't have to build them up. Like, these are, you dip, full color payoff. So I don't know if I would suggest this one for like a true beginner, for somebody who's just starting out in makeup. Sorry, there was like something on my hand. For someone who's just starting out in makeup, who's like, you know, never done like a smoky eye before, and like they're still kind of learning how to do that. But somebody who wears makeup every day, really likes it, knows how to, you know, knows how to do the transition shades, and knows how to, you know, pack on color and things. Like, they have a couple of different techniques. I think that you can definitely work with these and make them, they're not that hard to work with, is what I'm saying. But for someone who's a brand new beginner, I probably would caution them for this. So overall, my shopping experience with the brand was, I got my order confirmation right away, within like seconds, and that was great. But I didn't get any shipping information, like no shipping details, like whatsoever. And I did pay, you know, they have like PayPal, so I paid through PayPal. And I had actually DM'd the brand on Instagram, because it was like, I don't know, 6-7 days later, and I still hadn't like received any shipping information. I was just like, oh, hey, I haven't gotten any shipping information. Can you tell me like when this might be getting here? Well, I hadn't checked the mail yet, and like the same day, like it was literally maybe 4 or 5 days after I had ordered, like that same day I hadn't checked the mail, and like I went to check it, and I got my package. And it was so cute because the packaging is really pretty. It says Merry Christmas to you from Give Me Glow, and it also was very well wrapped and bubble wrapped. So it was in a box in bubble wrap. So the palette itself was wrapped in bubble wrap, and then, or the palette was in a box wrapped in bubble wrap, so that these, it's, so you can see I've used this because it's kind of messy, so that they wouldn't shatter. And I believe that these are, yep, these are magnetic pans. So if you wanted to, you know, say you wanted to clean up your packaging, you want to stick those in a Z palette, and you don't necessarily want to like have the Christmas decor all the time, you could pop them into a Z palette, like depending on what you wanted, and do that, and then you can pop them back into the packaging. I think the packaging is really pretty and cute, so I'm just going to keep it in there. But as far as the brand goes, I think that it was a good purchasing experience. I really, really like the matte shades. Like I said, the only trouble that I really had was the this duochrome. And the duochrome, like, it's really pretty, and like that's my favorite shade. but that was like the one that was a little bit harder to work with. And so if you have this palette and you like are not having that problem, or you have had a different experience, please let me know in the comments down below, because maybe I'm doing something wrong. Because again, I'm not a makeup artist, so this is just the review and opinion of somebody who is like not at all like not at all someone who is a beauty guru. I'm just a regular everyday consumer. And I think that sometimes those reviews are really helpful for people, just because most of us aren't makeup artists, we're not beauty gurus, we're not somebody who is going to have all the techniques handy. You know, we just don't know. I think that that's really important. But I overall really love this palette, and I would give it a 9.8 out of 10. So for packaging, for customer service, for quality, and they're some of the nicest shadows I've ever worked with. And especially because I'm comparing them to like a BH Cosmetics palette, or like even to the Violet Voss. I feel like the Give Me Glow cosmetic mattes have way more color payoff than the Violet Voss shadows do. But again, these are, it's different color stories, different color families. And I would repurchase from Give Me Glow. I'm kind of excited for their new releases. I don't know that I'm gonna pick up their new kind of like rose, like their kind of, it looks like a romance inspired, like the pinks and stuff like that, just because I have so many colors that are like that, and like that color story just isn't, that just isn't my thing. This though, like, I love Christmas, and the thing is, I'm probably gonna wear these throughout the year. Like, I'm not afraid of a red smoky eye, or a green duochrome, or even just the matte green with the gold. Like the green, I'll put the green in my crease and put the gold on my lid. That's a look that I like colorful eyeshadows, and if you're a colorful eyeshadow lover and you can pick that up, I'm not sure, there was some talk about them putting them like in a bundle and singles instead of like putting them in packaging again. So hopefully that will be available. So if that color story speaks to you, if you are somebody who doesn't mind wetting your brush to prevent fallout, or if you just have a technique, so I never do my eyes before my face, just because I'm, as a normal consumer who's not an MUA, like I'm too messy, like I go ham on my eyes, so I never do my face first. I always do my eyes first, and then my face, because I am constantly having to like fix things, and like I still use tape on, I don't know if you can, oh look, I've got look, from my swatches, I put eyeshadow there. But I will put tape on either side just to kind of make sure that I'm getting the shape that I want, because if I don't do that, I will make a mess. I will make a big mess. So if you don't know that trick, I really love it. It's literally just Scotch tape at an angle to get the shape that you want. So I have almond shaped eyes, and if I don't, it can very quickly go from having, this like kind of almond shape to having like giant circles of color if I'm not careful. And that's not what I want. I don't want that. I am just really excited that I got to try Give Me Glow Cosmetics. I'm really excited to try more vegan makeup in 2019. Let me know in the comments down below if you have a favorite vegan makeup brand, if there's something I should try. I really want to try the Axology lip products, and I want to, I think I'm going to switch from my BoxyCharm to the Kinder box. And if you don't know, the Kinder box is by the woman who plays Luna Lovegood in Harry Potter, so Ivana Lynch. She is a very famous vegan, and I am so sorry that I don't remember the name of the other person who's doing it with her. They have a vegan makeup subscription box. I think it's $24 a month, so a little bit more expensive than BoxyCharm, but I'm completely willing to pay a few more dollars to know that my makeup, that no animals were harmed in the making of my makeup. Like, I want my face to be happy, cruelty free, and animal product free. So I do have things in my collection that are not vegan, because when I first went vegan, it wasn't a thing that I knew to check for. Sorry, my tea is getting cold. So it wasn't a thing I knew to check for. Like, I knew to check my food for animal products, but checking my makeup, like, it just was something that had never occurred to me. And so as a new vegan, that was something that, like, I didn't think about. And it wasn't until I was watching like a beauty YouTube video or something like that, and I think it was a Jen Loves Review videos, and she said, well, this has carmine in it, so it's not suitable for vegans. And I was like, oh no, was I supposed to be checking for that? And so, and I've gotten a couple of gifts and things that people have given me that are, you know, some shades contain carmine, some don't, and things like, am I going to declutter those? No, because someone gave them to me as a gift. I didn't personally spend the money to support that. And so I feel like there's always going to be things we can control and things we can't control. And I always say that I'm a vegan, I'm not perfect. And so the idea is to do as least harm as you possibly can. It wouldn't undo harm for me to declutter the gifts I had been given, and it might, you know, be even more, it might be more harmful to a friendship or to somebody, or to somebody's feelings if I were to do that. It's, you know, I did let any of those people know that in the future I only wear vegan makeup, and like, they probably just didn't know what to look for and, you know, different things. So, but it is, I feel like it's a little pretentious because you don't know who's gonna gift you things. But I do feel like it's a little pretentious to be like, oh, here's a list of things that you can't buy me, where I don't necessarily think that that's something you should do. Just as a human being in general, I think you should be gracious, and you know, if you really don't want to use a product, you can always donate it. And like I said, I feel like if I'm not spending personal money on something that is doing harm to animals, but like someone has gifted, like, I wouldn't accept a leather jacket. Let me put it that way. But as far as makeup, hey guys, so I am actually editing Stephanie here, and what I mean by I wouldn't accept a leather jacket is that that is something where someone would obviously know that a leather jacket is an animal product, but makeup can be a little bit more confusing. So that's why I would say I wouldn't accept a leather jacket, but non-vegan makeup from a friend, that might, you know, I might give them a pass. I might give it a pass for that. Grows like that, to me, that's a little bit more of a, that's more, to me, that's more of a personal decision. If you choose to accept gifts that are not vegan, you know, that's your own decision, just like that's my decision. People who are close to me, and, you know, they're giving a gift out of joy and love and compassion, and I don't necessarily want to throw it in their face that, like, they didn't, I don't want them to think like, oh, they didn't do it right. Do you know what you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want them to feel like, oh man, you know, like, I don't want them to do that. So, yeah, and a lot of people just don't know. They don't know what carmine is. They don't know. I didn't know until like maybe 7 months ago. Like, again, it wasn't something I was checking for. So most people just don't think about it, because most people don't, like, it doesn't occur to them that like Beetlejuice would be in your eyeshadow. Like, they don't know. So yeah, I just think it's one of those things where you have to be gracious, be humble, and just be accepting of the fact that not everyone is going to have the same knowledge base that you do. But if somebody asks questions, then definitely share, but I wouldn't take that time to like berate them about it, because they tried to do something nice for you. And the reason I say that is because I have seen other people like kind of rage at someone and be like, well, you know, I'm I'm a vegan. And it's like, they didn't know. Like, they just didn't know that stuff. But the best way to promote veganism is to be happy, healthy, and compassionate, and wear some awesome makeup. So go check out Give Me Glow Cosmetics, go check out Axology, go check out Kinder Beauty Box. Like, this video is not sponsored in any way. I'm a tiny channel. No one is trying to talk to me. Like, nobody. So I really am enjoying just kind of making these videos and doing it in a way that hopefully is helpful to you. And if there's something more that I could be doing that would be more helpful, then please let me know. Thanks so much, lovelies, and have a fantastic night. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. And that is the tea.